Hi everyone, welcome to Christine's Creations. So here's a high speed of the fail. This is a failed it to nailed it video. And I'm not going to tell you the colors that I used because I wound up really not using them in the final piece. But this is what I did before I scraped it. I'm just going to tell you right now, I wound up scraping it. And I did the blowout. See how I covered it up with the background? Made it very faded. I was trying to use pastels and I wanted to use my pastels, but I wanted it being just so light. And so I go in after I do this blowout and I'm trying to create some more defined. See, there's a defined bloom. And what the problem winds up being is I used Artist Loft Soft Body White for the background. And when I did that, I've learned that I'm not going to be using that anymore because it has a cloud effect and it creates some cells. And so a lot of what I'm doing right now is fighting cells, trying to get it to create something that looks like a flower. And with my mouse, see, I'm trying to create some layering there because the blow dryer wasn't working out. And I give it my best effort. I really worked on this thing a long time. I know it doesn't seem like it because I'm in high speed, but you know, I feel like it was like 40 minutes or something. And I only had a limited amount of base coat. So I was a little frustrated because I didn't know, how am I going to save this painting when I only have, this background. And I didn't want to scrape it and waste. So yeah, here, I mean, it's getting better. I mean, I was definitely seeing that I liked the color combination and I liked the background with these colors. And I wind up pushing the pastels aside and focusing on the three colors. Okay, so I know I didn't do a lot of talking during this because, today I didn't really have a plan. I just had a bunch of colors that I liked together. When I first did the blowout, it didn't have any, what I like to call pop or punch. And I noticed that the three main colors that my eye was really drawn to that looked really great were these three colors right here, the deep magenta gold and the Arteza pearl pink tulip, which I'm obsessed with the pearl pink tulip. So I just got to get it out of my system because I've been putting in a lot of my paintings lately. I'm getting a cloud effect, some pearl cells, and I don't really know why. I used more water in my base coat than are probably in these bottles. That could be why, and they're probably density cells of some kind. I'm not gonna try to pretend like I can explain it. But this is very abstract, just fun and pretty. Like, see, as I'm looking, I'm getting more of those kind of pearl cells. I'm not sure. And I don't really like them, but I don't hate them. It's not something that I strive for. But I kind of want to mess with the middle a little bit more, but like I'm just probably going to get more of this. So part of me is like, should I leave it alone and walk away? I don't know. I'm not vibing with it. I don't think I like it. And I hate to waste all that base paint. But, I mean, you guys, I just don't like it. So... So I'm changing my colors. They weren't working and vibing with me, and I actually changed the orientation too of the canvas. So now I'm gonna do it this way. I'm changing it all up. I've got Arteza Pearl Hot Pink, Arteza Pearl Pink Tulip, Arteza Pearl Golden Hour, Artist Loft Copper, and Artist Loft Deep Magenta. All right. I took the spouts off because I want more color. That was one of the things I was having a problem with before, so we're just gonna do a pour. And if I need any background color, I have to use white because I don't have anything else. So I'm gonna focus and hopefully I can make something pretty. That's much better. I'm really glad I just decided to completely scrape it because the other one wasn't vibing with me. Got some shading here. I'm gonna have to let it go. And I'm just debating if I need to kind of do any mouth blowing. There's a little spot right here. I need to make it better. All right, here we are, everyone. This is on the drawing table. I am so excited about this painting, you guys. I love that smoke pink against the mint green in the back. That was just purely because I had to scrape it and I didn't want to mix the colors up too much from the first pour that I didn't like. And these pigments are all pearl and metallic except one, the deep magenta. So when this is under resin, it's going to look amazing. I'm so stoked. Now here's some density cells. I was fighting them. I really was. I didn't want them, but there's only so much you can do. But like, I've got my flash on my camera here so you guys can see while it's wet, this Golden Hour by Arteza. You know, those paints are a little bit more expensive, but you really don't need a lot of them to make those pops, you know, make those pops of color. But I'm in love with the center bloom. Finally, oh my God, once I finally got the center bloom, I was like, oh my God, I can be done with this thing. Because at this point, it just really was becoming work. So yeah. And I wound up, you know, not really being able to use my pastel colors, which was like my original goal. I really wanted to use the pastel colors. And I think I'm just gonna use those because they're mixed up in my bottles. And maybe I'll use them as like a background somehow. But you guys, please let me know what you think of this. I think it's wonderful. Even though there's some of the density cells in there, I hope that they don't continue to grow. Fingers crossed, y'all. Okay, hi everyone. So here it is dry. I haven't resined it yet. And I'm gonna give you guys a close. You can already see the, the metallic and pearl. So when you look at it without the light shining on it, it looks like this, kind of more of a solid color. But then when you look at it from a different angle and you see those pearl, then, you know, it looks brighter and more multicolored. I want to talk about these density cells right here and here. I know I mentioned it that I was just like trying to avoid them. This one is really, really bad. I just hate the way it looks. And I've really thought a lot about this, and I am gonna paint over them. My husband doesn't think I should because it won't look organic, but it's my painting, and if it's just bothering me that much, I don't want to put resin over it until I've done it. So I'm gonna very carefully with a paintbrush go in there, and I don't know if I'll do every single one. So this is kind of like a before I paint over those density cells. And I just really love this painting. I love the shadowing behind. It gives it depth and layers. I'm definitely gonna be repeating kind of the process. And also, let's talk about the waves. Okay, so because I had such a thin coat of background, it was there, you know, it was basically not a dry canvas, but that's what causes these edges. And some people like them and some people don't. They're, you know, I, I don't like them so much when they're pointy, but in this case, it works. It really does work, and I'm gonna try it again. You know, I am. So, because if I had more background paint and then did the flowers, they would have just gone. I mean, you guys have seen it. It looks like a giant kind of feather, right? It wouldn't have looked like that. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, so it's a different look. I'm embracing it and loving it, and I am going to try it again on my next canvas. But for now, I want to finish this guy out. I've got resin coming on Tuesday, and I want to get these cells covered up and decide what color I'm going to use. So I just wanted to document before I put resin on it what I've done to change this painting with my paintbrush after it was dry. I did cover up the unwanted cells. At this point, having a hard time remembering where they were. Um, and and then it was on the wall, and I realized that when it's not in its, you know, certain spot like that, it looks very colorful. But then when the light wasn't shining on it, it looked kind of monochromatic, a lot of the same colors. So as you can see, I went in and I put yellow blended there, a little more there, and gave it focal points throughout the center. And I do think it looks more like flowers now. And I'm about to put resin on it. So I just wanted to document before resin. And I've struggled to decide if it needs resin, but I'm gonna do it, and hope I don't regret it. Never once regretted resin though. It just has a way of really livening up a painting. So there it is. Messed with it a lot. I did a little bit more than yellow. I did some red, and you know, just it'd be too hard to explain, but you know, I fiddled with it. So yeah, anyway, let's get on with the resin. All right, there she is, everyone. Got resin on it. It's completed. I'm gonna show you a couple of different angles. There's a lot of window glare. We're having a crazy day of weather. Anyway, just gonna show you guys. Detail. See, when I block the light, it changes different angles depending on where it's hanging. But directly in front. And then the bottom, this beautiful flow down here. So very pretty. Very happy with this one.